Hello and welcome to Clearview Television. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Independent National Electoral Commission signs Memorandum of Understanding with transport unions for efficient logistics in the 2023 general election. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency celebrates outstanding officers in curtailing use of illicit drugs in the country. 16-year-old boy to face prosecution for insulting Yobe State Governor Maimala Buni on social media. I am Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) this Tuesday signed a Memorandum of Understanding with transport unions for efficient logistics in the 2023 general election. The unions who signed the MOU are the National Union of Road Transport Workers, the National Association of Road Transport Owners, and the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria to reach Nigerians in the riverine areas. Clearviewtv's Florence Joshua witnessed the signing and now reports.
The signing of a revised MOU with the Road and Marine Transport Union in Abuja is a demonstration of the Commission's determination to implement key recommendations of the review exercise in order to enhance logistic deployment in the electoral operations. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu said there will be dramatic improvement on the 2023 election, and as such, the Commission will ensure that it's ready to deliver on its mandate.
Learning from the experience of the past, I would like to appeal to all the unions and service providers to abide by the letter and spirit of the MOU and the contract respectively. They must see their role as a national coach duty, and I'm happy so many of them have said so. But they should also ensure that there is no failure on their part, especially on the eve of elections, when it is too late for the Commission to consider an alternative. Deploy in the riverine areas. We also rely on the services of the Marine Police and the Nigerian Navy to provide security, escort, and tracking. So both on land and on the high seas, there will be security escort and security tracking.
This intervention seeks to, engage with INEC on the development of the innovative approaches towards a smooth conduct of the 2023 general election.
Leaders of the transport union in one voice promised to abide by the conditions of the MOU and deliver on the call to action by their nation.
This MOU therefore commend all the stakeholder workers more closer towards achievement the above goals. Permit me an injunction to sincerely appreciate the INEC chairman and the management team for the confidence they have on the NDLEA, NATO, and Marine. Mr. Chairman, sir, on behalf of three transport union, I thank you Mr. and assure you, and indeed the entire nation that on our part we will not disappoint Nigeria. In fact, the NDLEA, NATO, and MEU have come to regard this occasion assignment as a core national service and therefore must deliver.
With just a few weeks to the 2023 general elections, Pundit says all hands are expected to be on deck to ensure the success of the election. Florence Joshua reporting for Clearview Television.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), the Nigeria Police Force, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, and the Police Force have identified the need to tackle vote buying in order to overcome a major obstacle to a free, fair and credible elections in Nigeria in 2023. Speaking at a one-day stakeholders summit on addressing the influence of money in the 2023 general election, the leadership of the government security and electoral agencies said vote buying also hinders accountability from elected leaders. Clearview TV's Florence Joshua was at the summit and now reports.
Many Nigerians have demanded to know from INEC how the Commission intends to tackle the influence of money in elections, particularly the purchase of permanent voters' cards from voters ahead of the election and vote buying at polling units on election day. INEC Chairman Muhammad Yakubu, while expressing worries that proceeds of crime may find its way into the 2023 general elections through money laundering, said the pernicious use of money will increase the likelihood of election violence due to a win-at-all-cost mentality amongst contestants.
Understandably, many Nigerians have demanded to know from INEC what the Commission is doing about the deleterious influence of money in elections, particularly the diabolical practice of purchase of PVCs from voters ahead of election and vote buying at polling units on election day. Over the years, we introduced a number of measures, including the slight reconfiguration of our polling units to bring the ballot boxes closer to the voting cubicles, to discourage the exposure of the marked ballot papers by voters to vote buyers.
These limitations on the use of money in elections are critical as mechanisms for checking manipulations and corruption of the electorate. The electoral officials, the security agencies, and judiciary, who all have very critical roles to play in ensuring that the results of elections reflect the true wishes of the electorate. In other words, if the use of money is allowed a free rein in elections, then there is no guarantee that elections will be credible, transparent, acceptable, and rancor-free.
Security agencies present at the event said attempts to buy over their members and political umpires cannot be completely ruled out. They also listed thuggery, snatching of ballot boxes as some of the key issues affecting the credibility of elections in Nigeria.
The Money Laundering Prohibition Act says for individuals 5 million you can't do beyond, except going to a financial institution, and for corporate bodies 10 million. So you have the soft end, you have the hard end. What is of importance for this conversation and for our noting is that both ends can and will be tracked.
We will also ensure that the police squad, intelligence officers, and investigators are moved to the field to ensure that politicians who move on election days with tons of money or physical cash for vote buying are apprehended and dealt with within the confines of the law.
For us at the EFCC, we have remained focused and committed to enhancing our preventive mandate by instituting measures targeted at safeguarding the system, including the prevention of vote buying and influence in electoral processes through covert and overt surveillance at polling units, investigations and prosecution of politicians who receive funds to influence election outcomes.
The summit cautioned political parties to adhere strictly to electioneering guidelines, other extant laws and regulations aimed at addressing the use of funds to influence outcome of elections and make full disclosure of their sources of campaign finances. Florence Joshua, reporting for Clearview Television.
The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, has never been part of the Buhari administration, so says Ibrahim Batati, the national coordinator of the National APC Supporters Center. Batati also said that the issue of insecurity, which some people are using to discredit the Buhari administration, is not a Nigerian problem but a global battle. He prophesied that the administration of Bola Tinubu will only take off on May 29, 2023.
Quick one. No government has ever been given 100% in performance. If you say that the APC government failed in the area of insecurity, remember that insecurity is a global battle. And this administration is trying its best. But then don't let me speak for this government. No matter your assessment of this APC central government, it is wrong of anybody to drag Bola Tinubu into it, as he was not part of the administration. He is an APC chieftain. But was he ever a minister in this administration? Was he ever an ambassador in this administration? Or a board chairman in this administration? Not even a contractor. Tinubu administration will just be started on May 29, 2023, inshallah.
To create synergy and collaboration among all public institutions in Nigeria, particularly those involved in the country's identity ecosystem, the Nigeria Digital Identification for Development (ID4D) project has engaged liaison and desk officers ecosystem implementing partners on a one-day roundtable discussion in Abuja. The roundtable aims at increasing knowledge of participants on the essence and mission of the ID4D project and the role of desk officers in the project implementation. Clearviewtv's Imefonu Okon has the details.
In his opening remarks, the project coordinator, Nigeria Digital Identification for Development (ID4D) project, Musa Solomon, said the roundtable aims at explaining the essence of the Nigeria Digital Identification for Development (ID4D) project, while discussing the roles of the desk officers in the project implementation, among other objectives.
But for us in ID4D is one of our major objectives. We are expected to facilitate bringing people together, all relevant agencies together, to collaborate together to achieve the singular purpose of increasing the number of people with national identity number in Nigeria.
Other keynote speakers at the event said there's need for a deliberate and long-term plans to chart new course that will help prioritize national projects, build resilience, explore emerging trends, and capitalize on the opportunities inherent in a unified identity system in order to reposition Nigeria economically.
The primary aim of the strategic roadmap for development for digital identification in Nigeria is to simplify the approach for identification through simple data collection process and a centralized unique identification system for Nigeria and legal residents.
We engaged CSOs representing these populations, and what we did was to tell them about the project and also give them an opportunity to tell us what really their pain points are and how we can help them to identify their target population.
The previous presenter mentioned that the NIN should be available and provide coverage for all Nigerian citizens, and indeed legal residents. When we say Nigerian citizens, we mean those residing in Nigeria and overseas. They should be captured and housed in the National Identity Database.
The rest assured that your data is secured, irrespective of the law or no law.
We recognize the fact that you cannot implement this project alone. And for us to do it and do it well, we need to shake hands, meet with you, dialogue with you, listen to you, guide us on certain things that we may assume, and maybe the assumption is not correct, so that we can adjust.
The aim of the project is to strengthen the foundational identity system and in the process improve national data protection, boost Nigeria's digital economy, and close the inclusion gaps in access to identification and related key services. Imefonu Okon, reporting for Clearview Television.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, this Tuesday held its biannual 3-in-1 end-of-the-year ceremony to commemorate the good works of its officers in curtailing the use of illicit drugs in the country. Clearview TV's Dorothy Monday was at the event and now reports.
Statistics have it that 14.4% of Nigerians are presently engaged in drug abuse, posing a negative trend to the future of the country. But regardless, the NDLEA officials are relentless in putting an end to the ongoing trend of abuse and trafficking of illicit drugs in the country and bringing corporates to book, and most times giving rehabilitation to victims of the abuse of the substances. To this cause, the NDLEA biannual regular command award, decoration and commendation, and end-of-the-year get-together celebration was centered on appreciating its officers for their good works of service and giving motivation to work harder. In a welcome address by the Director Planning and Statistics, Victoria Ebase, she said the ceremony was in recognition of the outstanding performance with the aim of enhancing their morale for accomplishing the mandate of the agency.
I urge you to see this elevation as a challenge, an opportunity to distinguish yourself in the discharge of your duties towards making the country drug-free. So who much is given, much is expected. Officers who are being honored today with the Chairman's Award and commendations should also realize that this ceremony is in recognition of your outstanding performances within the period under review. This award today is aimed at further enhancing your morale for optimal service delivery and with the ultimate aim of accomplishing the mandate of the agency. Suffice to mention that the assessment is strictly based on merit, and any command that subscribes to excellent performance will always have a higher chance of being commended and rewarded.
The outstanding officers who were selected for their good service were decorated and commended. In a closing remark, the Chairman Chief Executive NDLEA Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Mawa, retired, congratulated the agency for another milestone.
Today's ceremony serves three purposes. It is a combination of the regular commands awards and commendations, the decoration ceremony for the newly promoted senior officers, and the end-of-year get-together of the agency. The three ceremonies have something in common, which is a celebration of excellence. Therefore, to the NDLEA workforce, as represented by officers, men and women gathered here, from directors to unit heads to every staff member, I say congratulations for another year of record achievements and milestones.
The NDLEA is a federal law enforcement agency established by Decree 48 of 29th December 1989 in response to the rising trend in the demand and trafficking of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, which adversely affected the international image of Nigeria in the 1980s. Dorothy Monday, reporting for Clearview Television.
If you are just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview Television. When we come back, we bring you stories on women and children. Stay with us.
The news continues now with stories from our area of specialization, women and children. After the main transmission of our news, we rebroadcast on our YouTube page, Clearviewtv. Do you operate a women or children's NGO? Are you at the helm of affairs of a government establishment or a corporate organization involved in the affairs of women and children? Then you are our partners in progress. We have a mission to better the lot of our women and children. Join us to celebrate womanhood and work assiduously to better the lot of the Nigerian child. This is our mission.
You're welcome back. The Yobe State Police Command has arrested a 16-year-old boy for allegedly insulting Yobe State Governor Honorable Maimala Buni on social media. The boy was arrested on December 11, 2022, but his travail came to public knowledge on Monday. The minor's father, Garba Isa, called the public attention to his son's travail and appealed to the police authorities to release him. It was gathered that the minor was arrested in Nguru town of the state and later transferred to the State Investigation Division of the Nigeria Police Force in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital. The police is planning to charge the minor to court after the investigation. And in Rivers State, the state governor Nyesom Wike says all hands must be on deck to protect the rights of children who are the future leaders of the country. The governor was speaking at the inauguration of the Rivers State Family Court, a decade after the Child Rights Act was domesticated in the state.
Pledging to protect the rights of the child, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and other Nigerians were at the formal opening of the family court. The essence of the court is to protect the children who suffer from all kinds of abuse in the hands of people who escape persecution. The major constraint in dealing with high case of abuse of children has been the inability of the regular court. The family court is the solution.
With the inauguration of the family court in Rivers State today, the challenges of speedy and efficient dispensation of justice in matters concerning children and families will be drastically tackled.
All of us have a stake in protecting our children. If our children are all messed up in that way, in the future, we will not have parents that are stable, that can pass on values to their children. We will have a difficult generation after us.
Appointed as the first presiding judge of the family court is Justice Eberechi Nyesom Wike.
Although there is much to be done and expectations are high, I assure you that we are equal to the task and with God and conscience will deliver to the best of our abilities.
Speaking at the event, Governor Nyesom Wike gave his full support of any rights that supports children. Though better late than never, Governor Nyesom Wike is still, however, disappointed that the family court is coming to being after the Child Rights Act was domesticated in Rivers State.
Frankly speaking, I'm fully in support. I'd like to thank God, students and peoples that are here to see that every hope is not lost, that you have an opportunity to see that justice is being done. From 2009 to 2022, how many years? How many years? 13 good years. Excuses. The chief judge has set up a team of experts to see how the 2009 could be amended and this and that. How many years now for a team of experts? Nothing happened.
The event also witnessed the unveiling of the family court rules and book for children titled The Child, Ethics and the Law.
It is no longer news that women are now more daring, challenging gender stereotypes in male-dominated professions. Still, there is no country in the world where girls and women have equal opportunities to boys and men. In Nigeria, women are still getting the short end of the stick on most growth and developmental indices. Looking at the impact of women in the society, Clearview TV's Dorothy Monday chronicles women that have stood out from January till date, exploring achievements across sports, cultures, industries, and artistries for 2022.
The society has often told women what to be, where they belong, and what they can and cannot do or say. Today, labor force participation by women is at 58% and a mere 10% of those women working in the data center industry. While the number of women in the industry is increasing, it's moving at a snail's pace. It raises the questions, why aren't more women in the industry? What does it matter and what can be done to succeed, contribute and advance the cause of women? Regardless, there are women who have shown notable impacts both nationally and internationally regardless of their age. But the tide is gradually changing, beaming the spotlight on notable women. We see women like Favor Ofili, an outstanding teenage sprinter from Delta State, born on the 31st of December 2002, who was named the best female athlete at the 2019 African Under-18 and Under-20 Championships after winning the 200-meter and 400-meter events, setting personal best times in both races. However, 2022 has been an extraordinary year for the youngster, who has broken and set new records. The first was April 15 when she broke the 200-meter national record at the Tom Jones Memorial Classic 2022 in Florida, where she ran a blistering 21.96 seconds to also become the first Collegian athlete to ever go sub 22 seconds. With time, she also emerged the first Nigerian female to break 22 seconds in the women's 200-meter, which sets a new national record. Her time has also been recorded as the fastest in the world this year, the fastest ever in the NCAA, a new school record. The U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association named her the National Athlete of the Week 3 days after she achieved this. 2 weeks later, at the LSU Invitational at the Benny Morse Track Stadium, she ran 10.93 seconds in the Nigerian women's 100-meter to win the event and move up to number 4 as Nigeria's fastest female 100-meter runner, behind Okebare, and also at number 5 in Africa.
Away they go. Who's showing first? Really good running from Gina Bass in lane 4. Outside her, the Nigerian Offaly getting into a running now. Picked it up around the middle of the bend and steaming away with this one and looking very strong. She's powerful and she's long and she's rangy. It's only the first two who go through by right, remember. She's going to be fine as Offaly, but who's going to get second place? Desperately tight to the line there.
Also, Mia Moore Motley, born October 1st, 1965, is a Barbadian politician and attorney who has served as the 8th Prime Minister of Barbados since 2018 and as the leader of the Barbados Labour Party BLP since 2008. Over time, she has been described as an engineer of democracy, as she is the first woman to hold both positions. She is also Barbados' first Prime Minister under its Republican system. Following constitutional changes, she introduced that abolished the country's constitutional monarchy. In January, after Mia Motley won a landslide re-election victory, she told the Financial Times that she believed in moral strategic leadership, which is apparent in everything she does, making her one of the most formidable leaders of her generation. Motley won her first political seat at the age of 28. Her ability to speak truth to power is also apparent at home, where she oversaw the birth of Barbados as a republic, leaving its colonial past behind. Motley expects this term as premier to be her last. Whatever she does next, the world is lucky to have her.
And I say to you, the people of Ghana, that in the same way that we have in Barbados, to explain to our people that the cost of living that now chokes so many of our people is regrettably not national, but global in nature.
Although the world is not ready for the drastic change coming as women are beginning to make statements globally, we cannot deny the fact that with women in different spheres of development in the world, impactful growth are being made. Dorothy Monday, reporting for Clearview Television.
And that's the news. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has signed a memorandum of understanding with transport unions for efficient logistics in the 2023 general election. The unions who signed the MOU are National Union of Road Transport Workers, National Association of Road Transport Owners, and Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, to reach Nigerians in the riverine areas with ease. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has celebrated hard work and diligence as it rewarded some of its officers who were outstanding in curtailing the use of illicit drugs in the country. We also told you that the Yobe State Police Command has perfected arrangements to prosecute a 16-year-old boy for allegedly insulting the state governor, Maimala Buni, on social media. The boy was arrested on December 11, 2022, but his travail came to public knowledge this Monday. Remember to like us on Facebook, Clearview Television. Follow us on Twitter at Clearviewtv. Follow us on Instagram at Clearviewtv_NG. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta.